Let's take you live to Papua New Guinea now. This is Port Moresby. What has just happened is that Anthony Albanese and his PNG counterpart have signed a communique. Now, this is not the treaty that we've been talking about for a couple of days. That has been further delayed. So further cooperation, can't quite read the text on that communique. Let's just have a quick listen in here. Okay, they're going to hold a media conference very shortly. We will dip back there for questions, but of course this is after a visit from Anthony Albanese recognising and commemorating PNG's independence. PNG, a very important country geographically for Australia when it comes to the rise of China. Of course, taxpayers have spent some $600 million towards an NRL team there in PNG as well. Let's just take a quick listen in. We'll listen to Mr. Marape and we'll see how we go from here.
The podium, and then we could cross again to Prime Minister Albanese's side. All right, thank you very much, and to Papua New Guinea, happy 50th anniversary. Yesterday was reflection. Yesterday was our commemoration of 50th anniversary of democracy, free market economy, freedom of religion, freedom of worship, and existing as an independent state. And we are pleased, I am pleased on behalf of every sons and daughters of our country to acknowledge that on my right hand is the Prime Minister of Australia, the present Labour leader of the Australian Labour Party, under whose words we're having this press conference today. It was this moment 50 years ago where great Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare, then leader of Pangu Party, one day after independence, had his moment with then Prime Minister of Australia, leader of Labour then, Gough Whitlam, as they made their conversations for the construct of a country that was bettered. And I said in my dinner conversation, 15th of September, 2 nights ago, that from the wombs of Australia, we were bettered into our sovereign nationhood. These are not just statements picked out of, for want of word. These are deliberate choice of words that on where we've come from. Children of Papua New Guinea and children of Australia, for that matter, must not forget that we come from same sovereign design before 1975. Before 1975, the military units we have in our country were Australian military units. The government structure we had in our country was Australian government structure. The flag we had in PNG was Australian flag. It was not torn, as I said yesterday morning at the flag raising occasion. September 16th, 1975, the flag was lowered with dignity, purposefully lowered, handed back to Gough Whitlam then, and our own flag was hoisted for the first time then. I want to tell our country, 50 years later, Australia has never abandoned us. Through to the words of Gough Whitlam, that Australia will find its purpose and meaning in the construct of a modern Papua New Guinea that is vibrant, prosperous and democratic. And every Australian government since 1975, both the coalition governments as well as the Labour governments, have had a strong hand in the construct of our country thus far. And I want to place on record right now, the present Labour government, Prime Minister Albanese and his team, the last 3 years we've worked to entrench our relationship much deeper into solid rock and to elevate it even higher, where we're not subservient in a master relationship, but equal partners relating, coexisting, working side by side, going forward into the future. And today it is not accident. We decided to have this bilateral meeting to discuss on security issues, to discuss on people issues and how people to people and our two nations in as far as coexistence of our security apparatus and environment can assist our space. Lest we forget, Australia is a big continent with huge ocean space and airspace. Papua New Guinea is part of the landmass that is the second biggest island on planet Earth. We also have big ocean space. In those spaces, it is in our mutual interest to have a defense focus and strategy that is mutual for two nations working side by side. And I want to announce today to every Papua New Guinean child, as your Prime Minister, Prime Minister's role, number one, is the defense of his country. Today, at the 50th, I want to say, and with no element of shame, but admitting where we are, 50 years on, our defense capacity is not at a level where your Prime Minister or your Defense Minister or your Defense Commander can defend our 462,840 square kilometers of land, or 3 million square kilometers of ocean space we have. And so it is in this vein and in the thought of preservation, in the thought of our national interest, security comes number one. And as your Prime Minister, I made a conscious choice, a choice knowing our history, knowing our culture, knowing our ethic value and moral value systems, knowing our democratic ideals. We made conscious choice that Australia remains our security partner of choice. We have no choice but to live side by side. We have been living side by side. We'll be here forever. We have people in Australia who are Papua New Guineans. We have people in Papua New Guinea who are Australians. Before 75, we were from the same stock in as far as citizenry was concerned. And so I want to announce to our country, today we've signed a communique that depicts to both Australians and Papua New Guineans, and we are becoming security partners as we go forward into the future. Security treaty for Papua New Guinea would be the highest in terms of security relations we've given to any country. Just last year, we signed a defense cooperation with Australia, and we felt defense cooperation is okay, but because we're in the same space, threats that face us is exposure to Australia. Threats that face Australia is exposure to Papua New Guinea. We got no choice. 1945 reminds us that threats that face our region, we both exposed to the same threats. And Papua New Guinea remains friends to all, enemies to none. I see no threat immediate, but as leaders, we have a duty to constructions of public policies and construction agreement that secures our country into time. This is not for 2025. This is not for 2026. But this is a foresight and investment in a strategy that secures not just Australia or Papua New Guinea, but our space in world map, our space in the Pacific, Indo-Pacific map. And it is us, at the end of the day, that will be here. Others will go when they have to go. But at the end of the day, in this part of the world, it is us that will remain here. So it is really in the context that my brother agreed to my proposal. I'll put on record, it was not Australian proposal.
Okay, that is James Marape, the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, talking about the close ties that he has with Australia.